Hello EFD squad and welcome back to this week's Euro Roundup. This week's very positive end of season Euro Roundup, Pato, where we've picked 6 winners. We're going to talk about some legends of the game. Captain Charisma is going to kick us off. He tweeted in, Xabi Alonso and Philipp Lahm deserve a shout out, Pato, and by Jove do they. You're starting with the Spaniard, aren't you?
Yeah, Xabi Alonso retires after 815 career games, 17 trophies. That includes the World Cup, 2 European Championships, 2 Champions League, 2 domestic titles. The list goes on and on and on. Now, he made his debut in 1999 in the Copa del Rey for Real Sociedad, before moving on to Liverpool for £10 million, then on to Real for £30 million, and finally wound down his career at Bayern Munich. Now, he left the pitch in this game, in the final game, in the 81st minute for Franck Ribéry, another veteran. And typically he completed the most passes on the pitch with 82. He created 5 chances in this game. 5 chances from central midfield. He could carry on doing it. That's the thing about Xabi Alonso. Like, he's not retiring because nobody would take him anymore. Almost any team in the world would have him in the squad. He's so good. He had the most touches when he came off. He laid on the first goal for Robben as Bayern triumphed 4-1 over Freiburg. Now that apparently, according to StatBunker, not sure how good they are, but according to them, this is the 63rd assist of his career, which is pretty decent. Now, given that he's been shifted around all over the midfield.
Yeah, exactly.
He's played centrally, just as a kind of all-rounder. He's played box-to-box, deep-lying playmaker, and that ball-winning, deep-lying player is probably where he's been best suited over the last few years, certainly, as he's lost his pace a bit, but still kept that phenomenal eye for a pass. He's still contributing at this level, at 35. Unbelievable stuff. And no outfield player has completed more long balls than this guy since 2014. He's laser guided. What a man. I'm really, really sad to see him go because Xabi Alonso, he's my beard icon. And he's just, he oozes class.
Yeah, he's one of the coolest men in football, isn't he?
He definitely is, yeah. He's a gentleman as well. And when you hear him speak German as well, like he's such a cultured guy. I think he's such a great ambassador for the sport.
Another gentleman, another long-standing servant who deserves all the plaudits he's getting is Philipp Lahm. 8 Bundesligas, 1 World Cup, 1 Champions League, 60 FB Pokals, and they're just but to name a few honours, Pato, amongst 22 of them. Now, he's played 630 games for club and country without getting a red card as a defender. That is insane.
Wow.
And that really reflects what sort of player he is, doesn't it? Intelligent, composed, calm, cultured, just a level-headed presence in any starting 11. And he was brought off to a standing ovation, as you'd expect. Rapturous applause from the Allianz Arena on 87 minutes for Rafinha after a typically measured performance, Pato. Just 1 tackle, 1 take on, but a 92% pass accuracy from 75 passes. The second highest total in the Bavarian outfit after your man Xabi Alonso, and 7 key passes from right back.
7 key passes.
7 key passes from right back. It's been well documented that Pep labelled him one of the most intelligent players he's ever worked with. He just said, you know what, I can throw out all my sort of tactics, whatever I'm trying, and Philipp Lahm would just absorb it. He's a very rare type of player. I think he said the only other player with an equal football intelligence was probably Iniesta and Messi, but Messi in a world of his own. But yes, 350 league games for the German, 244 wins.
Oh my God.
136 clean sheets and 42 assists with that trademark cross at the back post. He will be missed, won't he, Pato? Sorely. And the question on everyone's lips now, how are Bayern going to replace these titans of the game?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Joshua Kimmich has been touted as the right-back of the future, but of course there are rumours that he could leave. Arturo Vidal could step into Xabi Alonso's place, but of course Chelsea are rumoured to be after the Chilean. Who do you think Bayern should target to fill these huge gaps left by these titans? Let us know in the comments below.
That fly is
massive.
Really annoying me.
It's massive. Our next winners are Real Madrid. Chris, talk to me about the season.
Los Blancos, and I've been specifically asked by the guys in the comments not to say the Los Blancos, because that's the Real Madrid. So Los Blancos, yes, they wrapped up their first title since 2012, which was obviously under Jose Mourinho. They beat Malaga 2-0 away from home, with Cristiano Ronaldo netting his 40th in 45 games so far this campaign, Pato. And people say he's a little off colour. Well, he's answering those critics emphatically. That means CR7 has scored 40+ goals in 7 consecutive seasons.
Oh my God.
The consistency is sickening. But yes, he also becomes the second player to hit 25 in the league 8 times in a row. No prizes for guessing who's first. Real have now won in the La Liga 33 times this season. That's 9 more times than Barca. And it brings Zidane his 4th trophy at the Bernabeu with a shot, obviously, at winning the Champions League again as well, Pato. It's been a good year for the slaphead.
Well, yeah, if Real win that Champions League final against Juventus, they'll have won a trophy every 17 games under the French
numbers.
Well, actually, and this season it's been their away form that's been exceptional, okay? They actually took more points on the road than at home in La Liga this season. They got 47 on the road and 46 at home. They also scored 58 goals away. That's the best away scoring record in a single season in their history. And it's 10 more goals than they got at the Bernabeu. It's incredible. Wow. And it's been a real team effort. 21 of the 27 players to feature for the first team this year have scored, including Zidane's son Enzo. Now, 3 of those who didn't score are goalkeepers. 2 of them are youngsters, including Martin Odegaard, and the other one is Fabio Contrao. Now, 6 players have got into double figures, including Sergio Ramos. Real's second highest scorer was Alvaro Morata with 20 goals in all competitions to Karim Benzema's 19. So he really looks like he's ready to step into the first team. And of course, they could be the first club to retain the Champions League trophy. The question is, will they do it? And we want to know what you think. There's a poll right up there. Will Real Madrid win the Champions League for the 2nd time in a row? Let us know.
Come on, Juve. We move on from titans of the game to the one and only, the Emperor Francesco Totti, who's winding down his career by playing 5 minutes here and there, isn't he? And that includes that game against Chievo. Let's take a look at him, that game, and his beautiful career.
It's been absolutely outrageous. And we want to start this off with an outrageous stat from Opta, who say that 32% of the players who've appeared in this year's Serie A were not born when Francesco Totti made his debut for Roma. That is the longevity of the man is unbelievable. He's the 10th oldest man to play in Serie A, which puts him in pretty good company, along with Dino Zoff, Costa Curta, Maldini, Zanetti. He made his 785th appearance for Roma in their 5-3 away victory over Chievo. Now, he wasn't the star in this match. He only came on in the 86th minute. Edin Dzeko had already scored. Mo Salah had scored twice, his 14th and 15th goal of the season. They'd gone behind twice, come back, and that puts them in the driving seat for 2nd place with 1 game left to play. But Totti has really kept this team going. You know, from winning the title all the way back in 2001, he's seen them through highs and lows, peaks and troughs, and now they're on the rise again. This season, now despite being in his late 30s, he's not just a passenger. Since 2012, he's the 3rd highest number of through balls in Europe. Of course, through balls create the biggest chances, according to Opta. The only people who've got more than him are Cesc Fabregas and Lionel Messi. He scored 307 goals in total. He's got 197 career assists. He's been involved in 0.64 goals per game throughout his career. And of course, as I said, he won that title back in 2001. It's his only title, sadly. He's won 2 Coppa Italias, and he's 8 times been a runner-up in Serie A. But what a career it's been.
But in an odd way, it's those 2nd place finishes which have really captured the hearts, the imaginations that have made him beloved to football fans around the world, isn't it? Because he's stayed with Roma, the club he loves, the club he trained with as a boy, showing them unfledging loyalty, apart from, you know, when he nearly moved to Real Madrid, was that circa 2003. Didn't happen, he stuck with them and he's repaid them duly. And now he's the 2nd top goal scorer ever in Serie A, only 24 behind the great Silvio Piola. And in terms of assists, I know you mentioned 197 in total. He's 2nd in the Serie A for assists as well, only 7 behind Hamšík. He's just that rare type of player with great creative flexibility. I mean, he's played in the Trequarista role, which means he stays, you know, 3/4 the way up the pitch traditionally. It's an inside forward, someone who drops off the shoulder, sometimes floats out wide. Yeah, Spalletti also used him as a number 9, didn't he, in his first spell at Roma to great effect. I think in 2006, where he got 26 league goals, which is his best return. But although I suppose it was this skill set which also made him difficult to play on the international stage. I mean, this is a guy who only got 58 caps and 9 goals.
Well, he was sacrificed, wasn't he, for people who were not as flexible as him. Like Pippo Inzaghi could only play up front, so Totti just played wherever.
Yeah. And he also, I mean, talk about respect. He even got a banner from the Lazio fans, and I'll read out what it says here. It says, "The lifetime enemies say goodbye to Francesco Totti," and that's about as heartfelt as you get from Lazio fans. That was the ultras, proper hard bastards as well. And apparently now he's moving on, considering pastures new with Alessandro Nesta in Miami, which would quite frankly be not a bad retirement, would it?
Yeah, though I mean, going from Rome to Miami, from the one of the most cultured places in the world to Miami. But you can't really grudge him a nice retirement. What a lifetime he's had.
What an honour it's been to watch him, and good luck to whatever he does next. Oh, next up, and it's taken me all season to get them in there, and the final episode of your roundup is Brendan Rodgers' Celtic, who triumphed in the league when unbeaten Pato. Read off some stats, and then I'll wax lyrical afterwards.
Yeah, they went unbeaten over the course of a 38-game season. They're apparently the first Scottish team to do that, unbelievably, in that ridiculous league. But they were genuinely fantastic this season. 106 points. That's a record. That's 3 more than Martin O'Neill's legendary 2002 side. Now, the competition may be dodgy, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and my God, did they do that. 34 of those 38 games ended in wins. They scored 106 goals, same as their points. They're plus 81 goal difference. Rangers, by comparison, had a plus 12 goal difference. That is sensational. They finished 30 points ahead of second place Aberdeen, 39 points ahead of Rangers after beating Hearts 2-0 on Sunday. Goals from Lee Griffiths, he of the worst hairline in football. Stuart Armstrong, his 16th of the season in all competitions, secured those records. More impressively, Brendan Rodgers actually made Celtic quite competitive on the continental stage this season. They did not embarrass themselves in the Champions League. A 7-0 loss away to Barcelona has happened to the best of us. And this is a young team. You still don't know where their ceiling is. If they can keep hold of some of their star players, then they could go anywhere. So long as anywhere is to another Scottish title. Who are those star players? Paddy Roberts, Moussa Dembele, Tom Rogic, Simunovic. There's also that guy who they sold to Fulham.
I'm impressed.
Stefan Johansson. He was a Celtic player.
He was half decent, wasn't he? Yeah. He actually won our Player of the Year first year. But yes, I was hugely impressed with him in Europe.
Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, good. Another one. Keeping hold of Paddy Roberts would be amazing because he has been mesmeric at the end of the season. He, unlike James Forrest, has end products. The 2 goals he scored last week against Partick Thistle were both contenders for goal of the season. The kid is so talented, and he's too good to rot on Man City's bench next season.
I agree with
but
that.
I also don't want to see him peter out. That fly is really distracting the parents, isn't it? That is f***ing mammoth. It's like a goddamn pterodactyl in here.
Seriously, it's like a humming.
Calf. What I've enjoyed seeing most this season is the way that Brendan Rodgers has improved and reinvigorated members of the current squad. Players who are absolutely coasting under Ronnie Deila. I mean, Scott Brown has been one of the biggest improvements. Bruni! Do the Bruna. But no, I mean, he was injured last season. You know, his back, his knees, whatever, his hips have been amended. And now he's playing out of his skin this season. Stuart Armstrong, the highest goal scoring return for him in a season since he got 15, I think, for Dundee United about 4 years ago. I think he got 3 or 4 goals last season, 16 this season. Forrest has actually scored a few goals. He looks like he's got a bit of end product.
Is he the guy who runs like he's on the decks?
Yeah, he runs like Selma. But Rogic, he was a forgotten man at one point a couple of years ago, went back on loan to Australia after he was struggling with injury. Now he's back in the side and looks like a very talented player, albeit his inability to play Champions League football past the 60th minute. I don't know what was going on there. But Simonovic, they tried to flog him. He's become integral at the back. And Boyata, this is probably my favourite story of the season as a Celtic fan. So Brendan Rodgers forgets a file on a Champions League side that he's preparing for, goes back to Lennoxtown where Celtic train at midnight, and he sees that one light is on at the gym and someone is f***ing tanking it with a mask on, uphill, just like bang, 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 bang. Puts his head in the door, it's Dedrick Boyata at 12 o'clock at night.
What a man.
This is a guy who hasn't played, hasn't featured in the first team, but he said, if this guy wants to get back into the team that bad, then I will give him a chance. And he repaid him in dividends. He scored, I think, two goals in the next 3 games. And basically he said to Dedrick Boyata, I've worked out you've got 150 pay packets left in your career. to really kick on, and now, you know, let's do it. And he's, as I say, he's repaid the manager's faith. So I think brilliant story, and just an example of Brendan Rodgers' excellent man management. But the question is, how does Celtic improve from this? Probably one of the few disappointments for me was losing at home to Gladbach. But if we can pick up players that we've been linked with, like Fabian Delph, I think he'd be a great addition. If he could stay injury-free, I think he'd cost around the 8 million mark. But yeah, we need to pick up those players who are at a career impasse, like Scott Sinclair. Proven at Premier League level, but they've kind of fallen through the net. Yeah,
you can absolutely do what a team like Southampton does. You know, so they take a kind of underrated player like Oriol Romeu, and they've turned him into one of the most reliable midfielders in the Premier League. There's no reason that Celtic can't do the same thing. I mean,
he'd definitely be an upgrade on Unbeaten, who's, you know, a decent player. But now the question remains, Pato, can Celtic win their 4th treble in their club's history when they play Aberdeen in the Scottish FA Cup on the 27th? What do you think? Obviously, yes. But if you think no, I'm interested to see why. Let me know in the comments below.
Now, finally, perhaps the most requested team in our comments. It's Benfica, who, of course, won the league again by 6 points this time. Now, in their last 15 games, they won 11 and drew 4. They haven't lost in the league since January. And, of course, they have a chance to seal the double with the Taça de Portugal in the final next weekend. I don't know, that was a guess. I kind of went for Spanish, kind of guessed at some other things. Now, they actually scored more goals than any other team in the league this season. They had 72 and 34. That's a rate of 2.1 a game. That's actually better than Pep Guardiola's Man City. And it's especially remarkable when you think that their top scorer was Mitroglou, who had 16 goals in the league, while Porto had Tiquinho Suarez, who bagged 19, and of course, Sporting's Bas Dost, who hit 34 in the league. Unbelievable.
Biggest mouth in football. It's like a vacuum. It's like a guppy. But yeah. But it was that bedrock of a defence as well that got them through. They only conceded 18 goals in 34 games. That's 0.53 a match. That's better than Juve. That's better than Bayern. And that's better than Mauricio Pochettino's Tottenham. Although, I think the star man in midfield was Pizzi. Pizzi, I don't know how I'm pronouncing that. Pizzi, but yeah, the 27-year-old got 10 goals and 8 assists in 33 appearances this season. Damn. So a star turn from him. Now, this is Benfica's 4th consecutive league title. Wow. And manager Rui Vitoria's 2nd in his 2 years at the Estadio da Luz. He now has a 74% win ratio. 74, that is filthy. But yeah, so once again, they've also churned out the young stars, and they seem likely to lose them though. Now, Victor Lindelof has been attracting interest from Manchester United, while right back Nelson Semedo has also attracted interest from United, City, Juventus, Munich, all of the above basically, all of the top teams in the Champions League, and rightly so, he looks like he could be a hell of a prospect. Benfica fans, do you think you can keep hold of your stars? And if so, who are you going to add to that team next season? How do you go deeper in Europe? Like Celtic? Similar position? Let me know in the comments below.
I've got a final shout out for you today. It's Dirk Kuyt, who retired from professional football after, of course, winning the league with Feyenoord in his final game. He scored a hat-trick in that match as Feyenoord beat Heracles 3-1. And he now retires to take a technical position, an off-the-field position at the Rotterdam club. What a legend he's been. In his career, he's played 798 club games. He scored 295 goals. That's a rate of 0.37 a game. That's better than Eden Hazard and Alexis Sanchez.
Wow.
Of course, he won over 100 caps for the Netherlands as well, during which time he played at left back, at right back, across the midfield, across the front line. He really is a utility man who will do whatever it takes to help his team win. And he's done it again. When he returned to Feyenoord 2 years ago, they laughed at him when he said that they were going to win the league. Genuinely, the press said there was absolutely no chance. They hadn't won it since 1999, and yet here he is. He retires with another title.
Look like Dirk now, don't they, mate? Yep. Nailed it. I'm going to make my shout out short and sweet. Werder Bremen for somehow surviving, somehow retaining their top flight status in the bully. Now, Pato, after they've watched this, I think the fine people should go and watch Stat Wars. What do you think they should do?
Yes, watch Stat Wars. Why not?
Or maybe Football Mundial. Or a 10 featuring the likes of Michael behind the camera. Or Zach, your favourite. And anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next season.
Next season, yeah. Seamless.